On this episode of Wild Woman, I'd like to proudly introduce Meiling.
Hi, my name is Meiling Jean. I'm a media creator and also a troublemaker and fun maker. So I came here to the United States when I was 15 years old, and before 15 years old, I was born and raised in northeastern China. I was not really well liked by my biological father because he wanted to have a boy. He was in the army and he wants to continue with the army with the next generation, but I couldn't. So my mom got abused by him. He would kick my mom's belly. It was just like a big mistake to have him in the life. My biological parents, they got divorced when I was 2 years old. That actually also become a little hard for my mom because my mom is a single mom, and in China, for some reason, the society just doesn't accept a single mom have another child. My mom really had some hard time to find another husband or another boyfriend. But my mom found a life, which is she would move to the city of Shenzhen, which is way in the south of China. So basically, I was really distanced from my mom. My mom would visit me every year, like just once a year or once per 2 years. But I got raised by my grandparents, which is I really feel grateful about their love. But my grandpa is really a really strict grandparent. Back then, when I was in the middle school, I would start with my school day from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. I don't know how you can imagine about the school life, with such long hours. But you only got a couple different breaks with 10 minutes breaks or half-hour breaks. That's it. You got to study all day at school. My grandpa would put like a little bit harder time on me because in his mind, he would think, oh, if you are the first one arrived to school, your grade will be a lot higher. I don't know why that makes sense, but I have to get up around like 5 a.m. to get ready to school. And then I was always the first one arriving school and getting the key to getting the school gate. Afterwards, my grandpa would give me even more homework, actual homework, after 10 p.m. from him, because all he wants is I need to become the top student. That really dragged me into really at the depression world, that my grade was not that good. And because of my mom's situation, and I feel really bad for my mom because she is such a nice lady and super beautiful, and she takes good care of herself. But still, her life in China was miserable, actually. And I didn't know about my dad because when I was 2 years old, my biological parents got divorced and then they got separated. I have no idea who is my real dad. And so because of every single factor in my life, around 12 years old, that was so stupid. I was thinking about commit suicide. I just want to end everything. I was also thinking I should not be selfish, so that's why I was not able to actually commit suicide fully. There was a couple times during my lunch break at middle school, and I would hold the knife and then run away to the woods, into the woods behind my school, and I would consider to cut my risk and just end my life. And later, I got followed by my school teacher and my schoolmates, and they actually found me what I was doing. they want to stop me, and they actually rescued my life, and I feel so grateful they rescued me, because now I would feel that I have the mission to be able to inspire people with my experience, that I need to continue to live and I need to continue to inspire other people. My mom moved to the city of Shenzhen, which is basically from my hometown to Shenzhen is basically like from Chicago to Florida. So it was a long distance, but she was able to get a really good job in Shenzhen, and at one point that she actually flipped through one of the newspaper that says at the corner, it says, "Find American and get a good life." So she started actually getting online and started applying and register on different international dating sites. She just started working hard, and then trying to get a really beautiful profile photos and everything. And right now, actually, I would say she has done a pretty good job, because right now my stepdad is the one that reaching out to her. And my stepdad actually said, "Oh my gosh, at first I was so afraid to reach out to her because her profile photo is so beautiful, so stunning. I'm kind of feel like intimidated, by her stunning look." But anyways, my stepdad right now, I call dad, he reached out to her anyways, and they were able to actually talk on the phone. And my mom around that time, she couldn't really understand that much of English, but because of her outgoing personality, her friendly smiles and giggles, and that just caught my stepdad's heart, basically, just caught it. And around that time on the phone, my stepdad Robert actually said, "You stay there. I'm going to buy the airplane tickets. I'm going to fly to your place right now. I'm going to meet you in person." And after he got to Shenzhen city, they just fall in love right away, basically. And my dad said, "I'm going to buy a ticket to see your kid, to see your parents." I was imagining, oh my gosh, like that's gonna be my dad in the future. Wow, because I never had any father's love, right? You can imagine the first time I'm seeing this man, oh my gosh. And then right away I just run out. I know how Americans love ice cream, and I just run out into the cold, and that was probably 20 minutes one-way commute to go to the store to buy the ice cream bar for Robert, for now my dad. He feels the love from the future daughter, and right away we suddenly clicked. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be a great journey, and it's gonna be a great family. So yeah, right after Robert, seeing my grandparents, seeing my mom, and we all love each other. And we just decided to, it probably is time to start applying visa. Usually for the visa, if it's slow, it will take us probably 2 years to apply for the whole process. But it would actually took us only 8 months. We're actually super lucky because we got a really easy interviewer be able to help us to get it passing. But around that time, I was actually having a little sadness in my life too, because of, I got to leave everything behind. I need to leave all my Chinese family, my Chinese personal friends, and all my great friends. I got to give up. I got to give up all the Chinese culture. That's what I was thinking around that time. You never know what to expect. So I was a little bit scared. After 18 hours of airplane ride, we were finally arrived to America. Right after that, I got into our first house in Manteno, which is 1.5 hours or 2 hours away south to the city of Chicago. Super rural, super suburban, and super small. And I couldn't even imagine my American dream, which is living in such a small little town that after 7 o'clock, it was super quiet. I'm like, no, this is not the life that I was looking forward to. It was right after Christmas time, and my dad has not put away all the Christmas decorations yet. And when the first minute when I arrived in the Mantino house, oh my gosh, my eyes were sparkling. I'm like, wow, this is my American dream. I was able to really arrive in this home. It's like a dreamland. It's like a fairy tale land that Christmas tree and tons of gifts under the Christmas tree. I was in heaven. But the next minute, everything just comes down because my dad ordered the first welcome meal to America was the hard shell taco from Taco Bell. After I got my first bite into the hard shell taco, oh my gosh, my tears just start like rolling out. I'm like, it couldn't be my life. Like it could be like, I would not be like eating this the rest of my life, right? In America, right? So I was literally crying out loud. I'm like, no, this is not gonna be happening. My first month after I came to America was literally super hard because of the cultural and then the language barrier. I didn't really know much about the slang and everything, so I started to like learn a lot of like different terms in the American language. I started in freshman year in high school. And the first day when I arrived to my high school, I was preparing. I'm like, I need to start talking to people, but no one really understands my language. So after school, and I just ran back to my bedroom, and I just start crying, and I locked my door. And then my parents start like knocking on the door, and then they were trying to figure out what's wrong with me. But after I told them, hey, it just makes me sad. I was not able to make any friends. I was not able to communicate. And of course, they tried to encourage me. And afterwards, I just told myself, you know what? This big opportunity comes in your way that you are in America, which is lots of Chinese, they want to move to America, and then you are one of the lucky ones. So I encouraged myself, I told myself, you need to start to get into different school activities and be able to get into your passion. So from your passion, you can actually make more friends. So I started joining like math clubs, academic clubs, cheerleading, basketball team, track and field, this, that, like probably about like 12 different teams. I just want to get in, throw myself in the cold water, and I just want to, start making friends. I just start writing on my own time and about my school life, in America, because I know how a lot of people in China, they would love to hear about my personal life stories. But after I got home, I need to finish my own homework. And after homework, actually, I just got on the internet. I start really writing my life away. Every single day, I just start writing a little bit, and then I start gaining some just a few fans, and then lots of people, they were saying, oh my gosh, I really love reading your stories. Your stories are so personal, and then we got to learn a lot about the American high school system. And one day, actually, one of the editors from the biggest site in China called Tencent QQ, they were just looking at my stories, and they were saying, you know what, I really love your stories. I would love to push you into our main page of our website. So after that, I said, yeah, I will be glad, if you can help me with that. So after I got my first ever story on the main page on the biggest site in China, after I informed this to my dad, and then he was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you actually start doing this. I thought you would just goof around on the internet. You know what, I want to help you. After I get into the first school, which is Oliver Nazarene, I start getting into journalism and video production, because I think that could help with my passion. And I learned a little bit about video editing, and then I transferred into Columbia College. In 2009, my family actually suffered some financial difficulty because of the recession. We all moved to Chicago, Chinatown. And actually right away, suddenly our life has improved a lot because my mom was able to actually find job in Chinatown, and my dad also find another job in the engineering world. I was able to get into more different events. 2014, when I went back to China, actually I did a fans conference tour. So I went to 5 different cities, and then I personally met a lot of my fans, which is I feel so grateful. After going to so many different events and interviewing different people, getting different writing assignment, but I feel like every single time I feel like a bigger camera usually has a little bit more power than just digital recorder. Like we get a little more professional camera. We start doing a little bit longer interviews, and then that also gets us a little more opportunities to be able to expose to more celebrity interviews. So I wiggled myself into a lot of different events, and then I started getting to more bigger interviews, such as Oliver Stone. That was our first ever big interview. And later I interviewed more like John Legend and Patrick Stewart and Dan Aykroyd and more. Well, although like back then, I had a really huge following in China, but still, in America, that's not going to do it. That was pretty hard as a solo Chinese media reporter because most Chinese, they will go into restaurant industry or finance industry. So I'm pretty isolated in terms to going after the media world. But anyways, that actually makes me a little bit unique in that way too, because they also want more Chinese media presence too. One day I was accidentally met a TV producer, like a Chicago independent TV producer. She was chasing around with the camera and the camera equipment and the boom mic and everything. She was telling us that she's not that big, but she wants to, her passion is as an independent producer. She wants to produce a show that she can pitch out to just a local TV, which is also encouraged me. And then right after I graduate from college, I started telling myself I need to get my drive going because I want to be that person. I want to be that TV producer. I started having more encouragement in independent TV producing. So I started producing sizzle reel trailer for a food show, cooking show, and I started producing into the Chinese American documentaries. And then later I just feel like I need to probably produce something that I can have more broader audience. In that way, actually me and Robert, we were thinking about probably we should produce a comedy. Our first ever complete TV series, which is our Chop Chop TV show, our sitcom, first ever sitcom. Me and Robert, we were basically sitting down at a dinner table to discuss how to improve our writings, our editings, and for the TV show every single day. We start building different characters in the show, and then until we start getting everyone ready that we cast more people to cast more creative actors in Chicago, and then we brought this show to life, and we were pretty happy. This show is not super successful yet. We played our show on a Chicago cable channel, and right now we are still trying to pitch, and we are still trying to push that ahead. So we don't want to settle down. I become a model right now because every single feature on myself actually doesn't really require to become a model. When I was in high school, I had this hobby. It's pretty interesting. I would like to download different pictures from the internet from different celebrities when they are posing in a different magazine photo shoots. I would see, oh my gosh, that pose is fascinating. I want to learn how to pose like that. And also in my Mantino house, there was a huge mirror that allowed me to have the opportunity to be able to actually look at myself. This pose is good, this pose is bad, for me. So I would learn self-taught that what pose goes with me, my body figure. When I start writing journalism stories, my editor wants me to get some, professional photos done. Robert used to be a freelance photographer, but he started taking some photos of me, and then I was able to utilizing what I learned from, what I learned in front of the mirror. And I start posting them on the internet, and lots of fans, they just start saying, oh my gosh, like you should be a model. So that really encouraged me, and my first, I would considering amateur model event was at Chicago Auto Show. I just got so many exposures and attractions from different photographers in Chicago, and they just start, trying to get my information, and they want to collaborate with me. And right after that, I start collaborating with so many different phenomenal people. It's a hard industry, and also, like what I said, a lot of my features doesn't really fit into the modeling industry. My lips actually are not well received in China. Probably for American standard, they are like perfect, fuller lips, but in China, I would always be called, you have ugly lips. Because of that comment from so many people that I have ugly lips, I want to improve. I want to take so many beautiful photos and prove to these people my ugly lips can be captured in a beautiful way too. Sometimes I feel like, the life gets more harder, we should try harder. And that's always like my life model that, like for some reason, everything's just against me, but I just want to like push back. Hey, I have the power, I have the passion, I would like to achieve what I really want. With so many different hardships, I'm still trying to always challenge myself. I want to do a lot of different things, explore my own, what I'm capable of, and then everything around it is the aid for me to thrive, to become a successful TV producer. And being creative is the ultimate goal for me, and I will never give that up. I love being creative, and I love the freedom of just expressing your passion and your love, and then you are able to inspire so many people in the world.
I chose Meiling because she has a fire and a passion that I've rarely come across in this life. Her ability to go after what she wants in the face of so many obstacles is incredibly admirable. As a Chinese immigrant who came up against cultural and language barriers in the pursuit of her dreams, she was able to blaze a path despite the adversity. The adversity did not define her. She defined it and used it as fuel for creativity. This transformational energy that she possesses is one of the most powerful attributes I've had the pleasure of witnessing in her.